Hi guys. Such is the life of a mom who works and is in recovery. Today is Friday Spiritual Advocacy at 5:30 because it's summer, and the last couple of days with my twins, 7.5-year-old boys, has been nothing but play on their schedule, and I allowed that to happen. It kind of is the universe working in a very interesting way. The cool thing is there's an upcoming projects. One relates to a podcast and the other relates to a nonprofit effort, okay? Both of these are projects that will continue to allow me to help people by showing how I'm living the work. So keep your eyes out for living the work, transforming shame into power. What do I mean by all of that? What is shame to you? Do you know or think that you have shame? What is shaming to you by others? Have you experienced it? And most importantly, how has it affected you mentally, physically, spiritually on your journey? I know for me, I couldn't even identify that fears and judgments within and then from others were so very strongly manifesting in what I believe is shame. And it seems that our whole society, the human race, is built on shame. And all the stuff that I share here, I care about because I believe that shame separates us from each other and separates us, perhaps most of all, from our true self within. I was saying a 5-part story series. I gave 3 stories and they really perfectly explain what I mean by all of this. On Monday, I shared a story about how I was adventuring out with my sons and we were rock climbing in Yosemite, not like the serious like rope kind of rock climbing, but climbing on rocks they could put their feet and hands on and where we saw the ground. And so we kind of got, higher than we thought. And as we were coming down after a little shirt snag on Harrison from a branch, and I said, we're in this together. And it just came up spontaneously. And we continued on down and got back to the lodge, and our trip continued. A couple days later, swimming in a lake with all 3 of my sons and their dad kind of behind us, what happened? I got a massive lung cramp and it was causing some limited breathing. And as the episode worsened, I eventually called the lifeguard and I was taken to a rock and warmed up because I believe it was the cold that was doing that. And I got better and sat up, and one of my sons came over to me and he said, "Mom, we're in this together." Very happily and breezily, and that warmed my heart. A phrase. Why is that an important example? Because it was an example of when I chose love when I was climbing with my sons. I recognized my fears and judgments about how far we were going, and then that one of my sons wasn't listening, and that could have taken a whole other ride. And in that present moment, as I'm feeling those fears and judgments in this parenting moment, or moments, I should say, it came out of my mouth to not vocalize the fears and judgments. And the practice became, I'm gonna choose love and try and stay calm in myself so that my sons can stay calm, even though they are their own entities. And I said, we're in this together. Somehow one of my sons remembered that phrase, remembered that choice of love in an indirect, non-literal, subtle way. And he repeated that phase. Those were the 2 stories on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, I shared how one of my sons wasn't listening on his iPad, and I, was cleaning dishes or distracted or something, and I heard their father parenting, and again, I am just simply saying how different in parenting styles are. I am not judging their father. I know it comes from his own fears in his head. But what blurted out of his mouth was, he's just a brat. You're just a brat. And that broke my heart, because I believe that is shame-based, and it's not helpful. What I choose to and try to do in the time I have with them is to not only teach that they should listen and have less iPad time or YouTube time, but to teach them they can feel whatever they want to feel. He can be angry. He can be disappointed. He can be upset that he's being asked to get off the iPad or to do something by a parent. But express that. Put the names on the feelings and say, I am mad, and whatever else. Say it all. Instead of branding him with a name like brat. Lo and behold, our trip continued, and a comment just like was said to a child was said directed to me, expressing concerns for certain things. Then I was called, you're just crazy. So those two choices of fear and judgment in a mind became shaming words to a child and then to an adult. And it broke my heart. The reason why this story is so very powerful is this. A few days after that, my child, the child, repeated, you're just a brat and you're crazy. So I ask you, what are we choosing to teach our kids? Love? Getting the feelings out? Or fear and judgment? Shaming? Because they will follow whatever is said to them most of the time. And so, as my son was saying these things then to me after having heard it from the other adult, just like I did with the other adult, I chose to not fall into my judgments about where those shaming comments were coming from in them. If I had chosen to internalize and take it as a mother, it would have been super triggering. Our children will say all kinds of nasty things to us, and we have to know nothing that anybody says or does, whether it's from a child, whether it's from a partner, whether it's from an ex-spouse, like in this situation, nothing changes our worth and true selves. I chose to step back and to look at the full big picture in a way where, yes, my heart was broken that my child was shown this other way. But yes, it was fulfilled that another had chosen the other way. That is choosing love and asking feelings to come out. They are getting both. And so, this is called living the work. Love is to say we are in this together. Fear and judgment often results in shaming and shame. I don't want my kids to ever feel the effects of shame within them and the shaming of others. We can protect our true selves. We can. So look out for an upcoming thing called Living the Work, Transforming Shame into Power. Okay? Use a banned shame discount code. all in capitals on IndieBound to get a 20% discount on Home is Within You. And go to the website and get a free band shame tip sheet. Here's my little one. So I'm going to get going, okay?